This was a pretty tense game all the way through for the Red Sox, even though all of the action was kind of bunched up for both teams. The Blue Jays had a lot of early success against Chris Sale, who was weirdly off his game in terms of swing and miss stuff tonight. He'd settle in a bit and the Red Sox offense got started at right about the same time. If we're being honest, there was nothing super impressive from either team in any area in this game, but the Red Sox offense got a big 3-run homer from J.D. Martinez and they got a solid bend but don't break performance from their bullpen, and it was enough for a win. At the end of a long road trip that got relatively ugly towards the end, they'll take wins wherever they can get them. It's been kind of a weird season for Sale since it started, and tonight may have been the weirdest start. He's gotten phenomenal results, but it just seems like something has been missing every time he's taken the mound. On Thursday night, it was the strikeout stuff, which is super unlike the Red Sox ace. Even when we've seen Sale clearly not at his best, he's been able to generate whiffs. He did get some strikeouts here and there tonight, but there were a weird number of instances in which Blue Jays hitters got to 2 strike counts and were able to fight off pitch after pitch to continue the inning. Things were particularly concerning for Sale early on, as the Blue Jays were able to get something in each of the first 3 innings. The first inning rally got started with a 1-out walk followed by a little bloop single into right field. It's worth noting that Martinez was in right field tonight and this hit looked like one that Mookie Betts would catch on most days, but it's not fair to hold Martinez to the impossible standard that is Mookie. Sale then had a slider get away from him to hit Yangervis Solarte, and all of a sudden the bases were loaded. Typically, this is when the ace would dig in and get a big strikeout or 2, but today Kevin Pillar was able to lift a ball deep enough to score a run and give Toronto an early 1-0 lead. The second and third inning struggles were very similar and came on one swing apiece. In the second, Sale left a fat low 90s fastball right down the middle of the plate to Devin Travis. The struggling second baseman would not miss it, sending it to the second deck in left field, 2-0 Toronto. In the third it was just in smoke. This time, Sale hung a slider and while it wasn't crushed it did sneak right over the wall for the Blue Jays' second homer in as many inning to give them 3 runs in the first 3 innings against Chris Sale. Meanwhile, the early innings were a breeze for Toronto starter Marco Estrada. The Blue Jays righty had struggled a bit coming into the game, but he had his changeup working early and the Red Sox couldn't touch it. They did get a single in the first, but that was it, and then they struck out in all 3 at-bats in the second. It was only 2-0 heading into the top of the third, but it sure felt like it was worse than that with the juxtaposition between the 2 pitchers. Fortunately, the Red Sox got going a bit in this inning. It started with a Brock Holt double as the utility man stayed red hot, but unfortunately he pulled up with a hamstring issue after rounding first and had to leave the game. Of course, the Red Sox would take advantage though as Andrew Benintendi came through with a 2-out double to give the Red Sox their first run of the game. After Hanley Ramirez drew a walk, Martinez came up with a chance for a big swing. Unfortunately, Benintendi had some other ideas. The outfielder took way too big of a lead at second base for no apparent reason and Estrada made a perfect throw into the bag to get the out. An inexcusable base-running mistake. Fortunately, much like the Blue Jays brought the heat inning after inning to start, the Red Sox did that themselves in the next third of the game. Trailing 3-1 entering the fourth after Smoke's homer, the Red Sox got a single from Martinez and a double from Eduardo Nunez to put 2 on with just 1 out. They couldn't break out a big rally, but Rafael Devers did get a deep fly ball to score their second run of the game and cut the lead to 3. The fifth would be when the game really took a turn. At this point in the game it still felt like things were down despite the 1-run deficit due to both Sale being a bit underwhelming by his standards, at least, and the offense not doing more with good chances. The fifth turned that mood with a 2-out rally started with back-to-back singles by Benintendi and Ramirez. That brought Martinez up, and this time Benintendi stayed close enough to the bag. That's a very good thing, because on the first pitch Martinez took a fastball up and away and drove it over the right field wall, for a go-ahead 3-run home run. 5-3 Red Sox. While this was going on, Sale was settling in a bit even though he still didn't really have the put-away stuff. Even without that, he had a relatively easy time through the rest of his outing, allowing just 1 more base runner. Of course, he could have lasted longer with better stuff, as he needed 20 pitches to get through the first 2 batters of the 5th. Regardless, he was in line for the win when he left after going 6 innings having allowed 3 runs with 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. So, Sale did what he needed to do even without the swing and miss, and the offense finally came through and gave him a little run support. The remaining piece was the bullpen, who was without Joe Kelly for the first game of his 6-game suspension. Carson Smith got the call for the 7th, and after a quick first out he gave up a triple to Travis. That brought up the left-handed Kendrys Morales to pinch hit, and while he didn't get a hit he drove in the run with a ground out. Teoscar Hernandez followed that up with a 2-out double and Smith was done. Another bad outing for the righty, who has not been overly impressive to start this year. That brought on Matt Barnes to try and get smoke with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs, and he did just that with a big strikeout to escape with the 1-run lead intact. Barnes would come right back with that same 1-run lead to protect in the 8th. Things got pretty tense here as the righty lost control and walked 2 straight batters with 1 out. After that, Randall Grichuk hit a weak chopper to shortstop and Sue Lin made a nice play charging in and getting the ball to first quickly. It was a high throw, though, and while he was originally called out at first, replay seemingly showed Mitch Moreland coming off the bag. However, the Red Sox caught what looked to me like a break as the play was upheld on replay and there were 2 out with 2 in scoring position for Luke Miley. Barnes then dug deep and got a big boy strikeout with a high fastball to escape with a 5-4 lead still in hand. After the Red Sox failed to get any more insurance in the 9th, it was up to Craig Kimbrell in his 3rd outing in as many days. The closer was up to the task, pitching to a 1-2-3 inning and locking up another save. The Red Sox took another series and moved their record to 19-5, which seems pretty good for a team for whom the sky is falling. In my humble opinion, the Red Sox will finally head back home on Friday night to take on the Rays for these two teams' 432nd meeting already this season. That is, unless Mother Nature has other ideas, and forecasts are showing that could be the case. If they do play, it will be Drew Pomeranz going up against Blake Snell with first pitch scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Box.